Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Because today you'll hear a story that isn't about comfort or certainty. It's about a young woman who dared to believe her life could be bigger than anyone imagined. Her name is Miraal. And the question she asked herself over and over was simple. What if I take the risk? Miraal didn't have privilege or shortcuts. Most days, she felt like life was testing her patience. But she carried something that kept her moving, a quiet belief that maybe, just maybe, her story could be different. This isn't a story about knowing all the answers. It's about taking the first step without any guarantees. And if you've ever wondered whether you were meant for more, Miraal's journey will remind you. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to begin. Miraal's childhood was simple, a tiny apartment above her father's mobile repair shop. But while others planned safe futures, she was up late, drawing business models by flashlight. At 15, she filled page after page with ideas too big for her small world. And though people laughed, she never stopped. Her mother would say, "Beta, life doesn't always work out the way you imagine." But Miraal's dreams didn't care about realism. They were stubborn, relentless, and always waiting for her to come back to them. Every night, she wondered how long she'd have to prove she was meant for something more. But every morning, she'd rise before dawn, ready to try again. Because the dream never left her alone, it kept whispering, "Don't stop." At 19, Miraal finally pitched her first startup, a custom planner app for students. She believed it would change everything. Investors disagreed. Some called it naive. Others told her to get a real job. And every rejection stung like a fresh cut. She cried. She wondered if they were right. But even in the pain, she felt a quiet clarity. Failure wasn't the end. It was the first chapter of something she hadn't written yet. She studied every criticism, every rejection. And slowly, she rebuilt her plans from the ground up. Because if she could survive this, she could survive anything. At 22, she launched again. This time, an app connecting freelancers with verified clients. She taught herself to code, hired interns with little more than promise and chai. And slowly, something began to grow. 9 months later, they had 5,000 users. 18 months later, real revenue. She didn't celebrate loudly. She just kept building because success wasn't a finish line. It was a habit. For the first time, she felt real proof. Not just hope, but evidence that dreams do grow. If you're willing to nurture them through risk and failure. Just when everything was rising, disaster struck. The app got hacked. User data leaked. Investors panicked and started pulling out. Miraal sat in her dark office, staring at the chaos she never imagined she'd have to face. She had two options. Walk away and salvage her pride. Or start over, risking every last ounce of energy and reputation she had. Most people advised her to quit, but she learned that risk wasn't something to fear anymore. It was where she did her best work. 6 months later, she relaunched stronger, smarter, ready. This time, she wasn't just building a product. She was building a legacy. And nothing, not even failure, could take that away. By 27, Miraal had become one of her city's youngest investors. But she never forgot where she started, on that creaky desk above her father's shop. Today, she helps others build their dreams, too. Because she knows the truth. The world belongs to those willing to risk everything. She tells every young entrepreneur the same thing. You don't need permission to create something extraordinary. You only need the courage to start. And the grit to keep going when you fail. Miraal's story isn't about luck or talent. It's about commitment, late nights, early mornings, and the willingness to take one more risk, even when everyone tells you not to. She didn't just chase her dream. She became the kind of woman dreams are made of. What Miraal's journey teaches us. Miral's life is proof that dreams don't work unless you do. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters how long you're willing to keep going when nothing seems to work. Your background isn't your boundary. Your belief is. Most people fail, not because they're unskilled, but because they give up too soon. Miraal kept showing up, even when she had no money, no support, and no guarantees. Consistency beats genius. Discipline beats motivation. She didn't wait for the perfect plan. She started, failed, adapted, and risked everything again. Because success is never about perfection. It's about having the courage to begin, over and over. Take more risk before it's too late. The biggest risk you'll ever take is doing nothing. Every time you delay your dreams, you're not just losing time. You're losing the version of yourself you could have become. Stop waiting. Start building. Nobody is coming to save you. Be your own investor. Bet on your ideas, your hustle, your fire. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? You weren't born to play small. The world belongs to the bold. To those willing to fail publicly, rise privately, and try again. So ask yourself today, what's the risk you've been too scared to take? Now go take it.